Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 14 of the Tiny Wanderland. My name is Jay. I am the co-founder of the Tiny Wanderer. If you haven't been following the story up until this point, I highly recommend that you watch the previous 13 episodes. It won't make a lot of sense if you don't. In this episode, you're going to see that we have landed safely in Arizona. The trailer, known as the Beluga or Ballena, whatever you want to call it, it has multiple names, is safely with us in Prescott Valley, Arizona. Now, the place we're at is Carl Kunzman's, and he is a former friend of mine, and I'll discuss in this episode why he is a former friend. Before I get into the episode, I want to kind of go through some photos that were taken approximately, I think, a year before these photos in the slideshow were taken. So I'm going to actually let you guys know. You should be able to tell the difference, obviously. I was visiting Carl, I think, I don't remember when it was. I want to say it was in April of, I can't remember the date. But anyway, that doesn't matter. It'll give you an idea of the place we were going, or had arrived, I should say. So as you can see, Carl loves his firearms. Him and his father are both Trump supporters. Sorry, Carl. And but don't get me wrong, Carl and his father are great guys. The place that we ended up with is called, I call it the bunker, or the compound, whatever you want to call it. It's a 4 or 5 bedroom. It's a massive place. It may not look big, but it's very big inside, and it has a bunker underneath it. Now, for the focus of this video, we will not be talking about that because there are absolutely no photos for you to see of the bunker, and it's, of course, it's supposed to be a secret. So, but I just wanted you guys to see just some stuff kind of around the property. That's a vat of oil, some barbed wire, some hook, an old grater that Carl picked up at an estate sale. There's another view of the top level of the compound. Some partitions and stockades. That would be Carl himself, and very interesting individual, very smart, highly intelligent. Now we are getting into present day, just so you know. So Maggie, myself, and Heather had arrived along with a trailer, which you can't see at the moment. The first step was to deploy the tent so that we could have a place of operations. Now, Carl did offer us to use an upstairs bedroom in the house, but it was too hot, and I just preferred to stay in the tent because we'd been camping, as you know, up in the Tetons and Yellowstone and in Utah, so I preferred to stay in the tent, and I did. That's just some different views of the tent, view from the tent. Carl has a really unique sense of humor, as you can see here with his coffee cup. Couldn't even tell you what I was doing here. Here's me making some I guess we could call it compound breakfast for everybody. This is Oingo. I forget specifically how old Oingo is, but Carl always says he'll outlive us all. He's a very intelligent parrot. The only person allowed to touch Oingo is Carl. If you were to attempt to put your finger out, he would remove it with, I think he said that his beak had something like 400 pounds of pressure on it. I don't remember what it was, but Oingo is actually a really interesting bird. And here is a picture of Carl with one of his horses. I'm not sure which one. I think it was either Joey or Echo. Carl had 2 horses in the farm just down the street from his farm. And this is me with I believe this is a horse called Hawk. And Hawk was just totally in love with me, as you can tell. These goats, well, I never got their names. They had serious issues with each other and were always fighting and clashing into each other. Heather has some video of that, which we will post on the YouTube. This is Hawk. We're saying goodbye to him. I think that's Carl feeding Hawk, and that might be Carl with Joey or Echo. I think that's Joey, actually. I'm not 100% sure. Living on a farm, Carl had access to many pieces of machinery, farm trucks, tractors, welders, cutters, you name it. The perfect place to build a tiny home, right? Wrong. And we'll discuss why. So this was some mule he saw on the way back to the farm. That's me figuring out some information. This is me and Carl. Kind of sad when I look at this picture because I realize just how good of a friend he could have been. And then when I think about what happened, what transpired, just shortly, we're going to learn about it in a couple episodes. it just kind of makes me sad to look back on this picture. These are some views of Carl's compound. Basically, I used to joke with Carl about this. If you could think of the show Sanford and Son, that's kind of Carl's on a compact level. Carl's is a giant, I think it's 10 acres, and it's got trash and old stuff from people's houses spread out over everywhere. And these are just some views. Yep, there's an RV already ready to go. I could have just fixed that one up, but I didn't. The bus, which hasn't moved in years, an old Mustang, and there's a beautiful, beautiful sunset. Just gorgeous sunsets out there, but very dusty, very windy. I think that's Heather on the motorcycle, actually, and we'll get into that later. This is me probably chilling out. So what you're seeing here is a roof. It's a roof of a barn that Carl bought at an estate sale, again. And when I said I put the tent on the roof, Carl basically, we unhooked the tent off of Maggie at one time, and Carl basically just literally put her on the forklift, the tent, and just dropped it on that roof. And then I used some cinder blocks to prop it up, and it would stay there until we left in July. And we'll get to that in just a few minutes. This is me just chilling. Another great sunset. That is Heather making a camp breakfast. And let's see here. This was it was a large container that Carl had purchased or whatever. I don't remember the deal with it, but inside of this container had a floor with oil. There was oil in this pit, and what I told Heather, that the oil in the pit was it would make a good place to, like, you know, pretend to have like a haunted, you know, murder or something in it. I don't remember what I was thinking, but Heather did eventually come check it out, and it really smelled in there, guys. It was furiously strong with oil. You could barely breathe in that. Carl was supposed to have a company come and pump out the oil so he could use the actual container for storage. However, the thing with Carl is that a majority of the time he said something, it didn't always come true. So Carl had promised to help with the welding and the building of the tiny home and the engineering of it all, and he promised a lot of things in words, and very, very rarely delivered in actions. Again, I'm not political, but Carl was a Trump supporter, and from what I understand of his presidency, he did kind of the same thing. So if you're a Trump supporter, I'm not trying to get on your bad side. I'm sorry about that. You know, we have a new president. Moving on. Anyway, this was this guy we found under one of the trailers. Carl picked him up, and I don't remember if Heather was freaked out or not, but Carl decided to let him go underneath the something or other there. I don't know, one of those containers. He said that he'd kill the rats and the mice. This is Carl on the motorcycle, just running around. I think we were getting ready to change the chain, or try to tighten the chain because it was loose. Now, if you can imagine, after traveling through Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, and back to Arizona, we were ready for a little downtime. Just up the way from Carl was another farm by a man by the name of Mark. Really nice man. Really nice man. Mark is a professional painter. He even had his own painting booth. He was originally, his plan was to, at cost of just the paint, he was going to paint the tiny home the same color as Maggie, which would have been incredible had he done it. Unfortunately, things didn't work out that way. But we went over to Mark's for a barbecue before we were going to really get busy. And we got a little crazy with the alcohol. I don't really remember this night, so these pictures are kind of, to me, I don't even remember taking these photos. Carl just kept, pushing drinks on everyone, drink. And Heather said I got really, really trashed. So I'm not exactly sure what happened that night, but I do know that I woke up in the morning completely hungover. So again, we all got to let loose sometimes, and there was a lot of work ahead, guys. We were literally on the eve of the start of the work of what would become the Tiny Wanderer. That's Carl, and I just want to center on that for a second. Carl, if you ever do hear this, I am absolutely sorry about what happened in our friendship, and I do think that the dissolution of our friendship was for the best, and I wish you nothing but the best, and I hope you're in good health and good spirits, and I hope you're loved. So guys, that's going to wrap up episode 14, Life in the Bunker. And we've just arrived in Arizona. We're just now trying to get situated in what we're going to do with this thing. And the next episode coming up, episode 15, is going to explain a very detailed analysis of everything we did to start up the build on this thing. I should say the false start. It also is going to contain a story that will blow you guys away. It almost sounds like it was Hollywood, but trust me, it's real life. As always, guys, I'm going to leave you with a short clip of this video. I guess I can probably talk over it since it's just water dripping, but this is coming up on the next episode. I'll see you guys on the next episode of the Tiny Wanderland. Stay safe. God bless.